You're ready to buy land and build your dream home. Here's some things you need to know before you go. First, be aware of land fraud. Land fraud has become rampant all around Florida. So, what we're seeing happen is people draw up the papers that make it look like they own the land to sell, but in reality, they don't. We have seen their papers be so good that they fooled even the U.S. Embassy. And at times, people get mad at their realtor and they're like, why didn't you protect me from this? Look, if they were so good that they were able to fool the U.S. government, what do you think the chances are that I could have prevented it, right? So you need to be aware of what is going on. I've been talking about land fraud for a long time now, even before it started popping up all over the news. And it's just one of those things that I want everyone to be aware of. This does not mean that you should not buy land. Absolutely, if that's the way you want to go, you should do it. You just need to be aware of the possible risk. So, how do you mitigate that risk? When you are looking at land to purchase, ask the listing agent, right? Because normally the realtors, your realtor is going to communicate with the listing realtor. They don't really communicate directly with the seller. They communicate with the listing agent. So between the realtors, ask your realtor to speak with the listing agent and ask that listing agent a few questions, such as, is the seller a foreign seller? Are they out of the country? Has the listing agent ever met the seller in person? Has the listing agent done any sort of background check on the seller of the land? The title company that the listing agent wants to use, what systems do they have set up in order to prevent land fraud? These are just a few questions to ask before you submit your offer on a piece of land you're interested in. Now, as you go through and you're looking at land that you're interested in, one thing you want to do is make sure you check zoning. Always check zoning with the proper county and city. And the reason is, a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to buy some land and I'm going to just throw a manufactured home on the land. Well, some zoning does not permit a manufactured home to go on the land. Other people say, oh, okay, well, I'll throw a mobile home on the land while I'm building the home. And then once I have the home built, I'll get rid of the mobile home. Again, some zoning does not permit you to put a mobile home on the property while the home is being built. So always check the zoning and that it meets your needs. Now, once you submit your offer, you're going to typically have a due diligence period. And it's very important during that time that you're communicating with the proper authorities, you're inspecting the land, you're looking at, biological surveys, you're looking at land surveys, these types of things. And the reason is, for example, here in Florida, we have the gopher tortoise. And for each gopher tortoise that is found on your piece of land, you cannot build. You have to move the gopher tortoise, and it has to be moved by the proper authorities, and there's a cost associated with it. And the question starts to become, once that's done, are you even going to have enough money left to build on the land? Well, the only way to answer that is through your due diligence period, where you're looking at everything that is involved with that piece of land. Lastly, count the cost. Again, a lot of people think they're going to buy a piece of land at $60,000 and then they're going to build a $200,000 home on the land. But here's the things they don't think about. You got to connect electricity. You're going to have to dig a well. You're going to have to pay utilities to be connected to that home, unless you're going to run the house off a generator. You need to connect it to electricity and utilities somehow. On top of that, what are the biologicals of the land? Like we talked about, there are certain trees that can't be cut down. There are certain animals that are protected. Once you start digging into those things, what is the cost? It could be even stuff like you need to improve a road before you can build on a piece of land. Well, how much is it going to cost to improve that piece of road in order to build on the land? Count the cost. Make sure that you have enough funds to cover what you really want to do. If not, you may need to start considering buying a resale home as opposed to buying land and building a home on it.